Determining the best day to retire for federal employees is just as confusing as everything else. I will be the first to say it. Actually, a lot of what I used for this was, let's see, her name is Tammy Flanagan. She wrote about the best days to retire in 2016 on Government Executive. She did a great write-up of it. The problem is it's just so confusing. In reality, we just want to see the best day to retire. So I'm going to leave a lot of the details on how they were chosen and things like that for you guys to check out on Government Executive. I'll put a link in the bio below for you to check out on that. But I'm really just going to talk about some of the basics on how they were chosen and then give you exact days on the best day to retire for 2016. Now, when picking a date, something we need to understand is what I'm going to be talking about really only applies to those for immediate, voluntary, or optional retirement. So if you don't meet those categories, then this isn't really going to help you. Also, we must have to remember that a retirement month is not the same as a work month. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind going forward. Also, and this is a big tip and something you don't want to mess up, your retirement does not start until the first of the following month. So if you retire on the 3rd of January, you're not going to get paid until February 1st. So if you're living paycheck to paycheck, you need to make sure that you have things in order so that you're not, scrounging for crumbs off the ground, until February 1st. The reason I would suggest CERS to retire at the end of the month or the 1st, 2nd, and 3rd of the month is because you have a 3-day grace period, and this is specific to CERS. So if you, wait to retire on the 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, your retirement will still start, if you retire on the 3rd, it's going to start on the 4th, okay? They give you, that's a pretty good benefit that they give you to retire just with that 3-day grace period, so keep that in mind. Now, for FERS, one of the best days to retire is at the end of a leave period. Now, I'm going to pull up the calendar that Tammy Flanagan actually created. It's great. You can go on Government Executive through that link that I talked about to download it. But as you see, January 2016, the best day to retire would be the 9th or the 23rd, February 6th or the 20th. These are all in the yellows. March would be the 5th or the 19th. April would be the 2nd or the 16th. May would be 14th or 18th. June would be the 11th or 25th. July, moving on to the next calendar, would be the 9th or the 23rd. August would be the 6th or the 20th. September would be the 3rd or the 17th. October, there's actually 3 end of leave periods, and that's the 1st, 15th, and 29th. November is the 12th and the 26th, and then December, ending out the year, would be either the 10th or the 24th. Okay, so those would be the end of the leave periods. You would want to leave. That would be one of the suggested days would be to leave at the end of a day period, or the end of a leave period, excuse me. The absolute best days to retire would be to retire at the end or close to the end of the month, and also be at or close to the end of a leave period. Okay, that would be the ideal situation. And there's actually a few dates that match that. The first date is March 31st. Okay, so that is, at the end of the month and also near the end of a leave period. The second one would be April 30th. Okay, so that's March 31st, April 30th, and also one more, and that's September 30th. Okay, so if you can pick those dates, if those align up with your planned retirement date, I think those would be great. Now, what I want to talk about just for a brief moment is talking about retirement and why you want to retire and when to retire. Okay, we can give all these specific dates that may bump your pension up a little bit or allow you to take retirement starting as soon as possible, which is great. But in reality, you need to look at and understand why you're retiring and if you are able to retire. One of the worst things that I see happen with federal employees and just people in general is retiring without having enough money saved for retirement. So they go into retirement thinking, okay, I just want to get out of my job, I just want to enjoy retirement. Well, they end up not being able to enjoy retirement because they don't have enough money to live in retirement, and so they just end up getting a part-time job at a job they really don't want, okay? And they'd actually rather have kept their job with the federal government. So before you retire, I highly suggest that you kind of figure out what you've got in retirement, either through the use of a financial planner or try and figure it out on your own, okay? Having help in that situation not only could save you a lot of money, it could also help you make money in the future, or actually have a date when you can feasibly retire without living off of rice and beans for the rest of your life. Because for some people that's fine in retirement, but for most, that is not the ideal retirement. The ideal retirement is being able to take trips to visit family and do things you want to do that you didn't do when you worked, okay? So you worked all these years, don't cut it short just a little bit and, basically cut your retirement short as far as not having as much fun or not being able to do the things you want to do, okay? So those are the best dates to retire in 2016. I hope this video has been helpful to you. Like I said, click the link in the bio for the government executive article that Tammy Flanagan did. It's really great, very detailed. It is a bit complicated, I will say, so I think this kind of summarizes some of the main points. But she goes into how they were calculated for you engineer types, and I think that should help. But this has been Cooper with FedRetirementPlanning.com, making your federal employee benefits retirement system simple. Thanks.